How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Next Goal Wins TV. Coach Javi here, and immediate post-match thoughts, post-match reactions on the Liverpool versus Tottenham semi-final EFL Cup match. The second leg, Tottenham up 1-0, and obviously, as you guys just saw, Liverpool absolutely destroyed Tottenham. It really was probably one of the most boring matches that I've seen in a while, and I don't mean that in a bad way against Liverpool. I actually mean that because I think the difference between the two teams is so big. I thought it was going to be a lot more entertaining. When you looked at the other match in the other semifinal, Arsenal against Newcastle, the second leg of that match was, it was amazing. It was counter-attacking football. It was high press. It was back and forth. This match really disappointed me as far as I thought Big Ange was going to go for it. I thought he was going to do a little bit more than just sit in. They sat in. I think it was some crazy stat in the first half, like they only had 23% possession in the first half, and Liverpool had all the possession. You would think that a team like Spurs, who just give you up and down performances, you never really know which Spurs you're going to get. They're starting to get knocked out of these competitions. I think they're going to be out of the FA Cup very soon, because I believe they're playing Aston Villa, and I don't see them progressing into the next round. They have the Europa League. They have the Carabao Cup, which now they're out of. You think that they'd try and throw everything that they had and just take the risk. Just go and try and win this game and score first. Try and maybe, if you have to play counterattacking football, I get it, but at least try and actually counterattack. That was the biggest thing I was looking for when I was writing down my notes, because I'm going to do a tactical analysis on this match, and I'm going to start doing it as soon as this video is done, but I just wanted to give you my initial thoughts. One of the things I was looking at for Tottenham was the counterattack. I was like, okay, Liverpool's going to dominate possession. We already know this. However, Tottenham, I think on the counter with Kulusevski, with Son, I think they're gonna actually be quite dangerous. Every single time there was a counterattacking opportunity for Tottenham, there was not a single dangerous chance created from it. Liverpool regained possession of the ball. Tottenham players didn't even look like they wanted to sprint forward and make the effort in order to try and score off a counterattack. And I think they were just okay in defending and sitting in a lower block. They weren't parking the bus per se, but they definitely were okay with Liverpool having most of possession. Here's the problem. Liverpool, and I'll explain this in my analysis, so make sure you guys come back in a few hours and watch this if it's not up already. Liverpool are probably the best team in the world, and I think so. I'm going to say it. I think they're the best team in the world at their player movements. And what I mean by that is the coordination of each player in relation to each other. How one person moves and then the other person moves based off of that first player's movement is top-notch. If you guys look closely at the game and you watch, every single time somebody has a ball, like out of the back, for example, like Virgil van Dijk, and he's looking forward and there's an opportunity to maybe play a ball in behind or play that ball that gets crossed from one side of the 18 to the other, you can already see the players like Darwin Nunez, you can see Curtis Jones, Salah, you can see how they start making these movements to try and anticipate what their teammates are going to do. And that's why they're so good in the counterattack as well, because in the counterattack, when they all start running forward, one, they do it with extreme intensity. If you're going to do a counterattack, it's a full-on sprint from at least 3 or 4 players if you want to be successful. But they don't just run forward. They make runs in certain spaces that if I'm the second person running and I see somebody making a run into the central space, maybe I'll take the wide space, or maybe we'll cross over at some point. That's actually how they scored one of their goals. I believe is the Szoboszlai goal. It gets played in, and then Szoboszlai makes the movement in between the center backs, and then he gets played in. Liverpool are just so good at it that they make it look so easy. And if you're only ever just watching the ball, if you're watching the game and you watch the trajectory of the ball the entire time, you're not going to really be able to see it. You just see them pass, and all of a sudden they're in the final third and they score a goal. If you watch, when you guys watch these matches and analyze it from a perspective of like tactics and player movements, you'll see that. Don't look at the ball. The ball is basically just what coordinates all of the movements around the pitch. And there's a stat, if you guys don't know this already, it's like in a 90-minute match, you get the ball for about a minute and a half, maybe a little bit less than a minute and a half for each individual player. So that's why coaches stress so much the importance of off the ball. What are you doing off the ball that's allowing you to get in really good positions and allowing you to create for yourself, for your teammates, and then obviously ultimately to score goals. Liverpool do this so well that they're so focused on what are we doing off the ball that's going to allow us to get up there. And that's why they make it look so easy. On top of that, you have players with just really good quality. And I think we can look at tactics and we can analyze it as much as we want as far as like the details. But the truth is sometimes there's not really too much to look at. The truth is that Liverpool are far better than Tottenham. And it's just quality. That's just literally, if you do a passing pattern in training and you see them both do a passing pattern, Liverpool will always look sharper than Tottenham. The players will always just look a little bit sharper just because they're better on the ball. Each one of the players at Liverpool is better than the players at Tottenham. The only dangerous player that Tottenham ever have had recently is Heung-min Son. And he almost scored a goal that could have brought them kind of back into the game towards the end of the game. But that was off of one chance that he pretty much created himself and with no help from anybody else. You look at the rest of their lineup today for Tottenham. Richarlison, I've told you guys this. I said this in my pre-match preview actually. I said Richarlison is just he's extremely unlucky, and I think he's kind of getting exposed at this point where like he had one good season with Everton, and then after that Tottenham brought him in for a lot of money. He's had ups and downs, but he's never really had a consistently good season for Tottenham. And today lasted maybe 40 minutes, 43 minutes, something like that, and then went down with an injury, and the new signing Telles had to come in for Tottenham. And I think he actually did relatively well, but yeah, it's disappointing that Tottenham don't really have any subs to make. It's kind of funny because as the game goes on, once Liverpool are already up by a few goals, once they were up by like 3 goals, they started making a lot of changes. And I would feel bad if, like, you feel bad for Ainge because he's probably looking over at Arne Slot and the bench and he's looking at all these changes that he's making. He's putting McAllister in, he's putting Kwanzaa in, he's putting, who else did he put in? Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, all these players that he's putting in off the bench. And Big Ainge literally is probably trying to hold on with the 11 players that he started with, besides obviously Telles, who came in for Richarlison. He's literally just trying to hold on because he knows he has nothing from the bench for Tottenham. So that's extremely disappointing. However, if you know that everything's against you, you really have kind of a tiny chance. The worst thing that you can do is play it safe. And so I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't try and go for it and that they didn't make it more of a battle. It honestly looked more like an FA Cup fixture where Liverpool playing against a team that was like in League Two. That's honestly how it looked as far as the quality of both teams. Kinski didn't look good at all. Kinski had some suspect moments, which is interesting because the first match that he came and played for Liverpool, I can't remember what it was. It might have even been for Tottenham. It might have even been the Liverpool match that he played. I can't remember which one his first match, but I do remember that he was super confident on the ball. He came in because obviously they had the injuries and they needed a goalkeeper. They brought him in right away, played, thought he did really well. Lately, he's been looking real suspect out of the back. When he gets the ball, he passed it to Liverpool once that they probably should have scored. A couple of, he punches it when he's supposed to catch it. Just looked really suspect. Danso, Kevin Danso is his name, I believe. Can't remember what his first name is, but I believe that's right. Comes in, literally looks like a Tottenham player. Like he fits in well with Tottenham, and I don't think that's a good thing. Like I thought his positioning was terrible in one of the goals, the Szoboszlai goal, where he just left a huge gap between him and I believe it was Davies maybe that he left a huge gap in the middle between. So he looks like a Tottenham player, and obviously that's not good. Can't expect much of Telles because he comes in and they're defending the whole match and he's an attacking player and he's not going to get any real opportunities. So that's disappointing as well. And then you look over, you don't have any real legitimate players besides Son. You look over and Mo Salah's on the other team. Like, what are you supposed to do? Anyway, at the end of the day, Liverpool are just far better, which kind of leads me to the final and previewing the final a little bit. I'm going to do a pre-match preview for Newcastle versus Liverpool. I think it's going to be probably the most entertaining match all season, and that's including all of the games in the Prem. You got two teams that are so good in certain types of areas. Like Liverpool in possession, fantastic. They understand the balance of when they have to go more direct, when they have to keep possession. They're really good in the counterattack. Newcastle are going to go and high press Liverpool every single time. Liverpool are probably going to go and high press Newcastle. It's going to be an extremely entertaining match to watch. So make sure you guys are checking in on the channel so that you guys can get my pre-match preview on that. And I'll also obviously do a tactical analysis on that one as well. Besides that, I think that's pretty much it. Back to kind of where I started, it was a little bit disappointing in the fact that there was nothing unexpected. Everything that was supposed to happen happened the exact way that it was supposed to play out, and the game was relatively boring. But that's only because I'm giving a lot of credit to how good Liverpool are and how easy they made the game look. That's it. No disrespect to Liverpool in any way whatsoever when I say that. Tottenham, on the other hand, extremely disappointing, and we talk about how inconsistent they are with their performances. They're starting to be a lot more consistent in a bad way, in terms of their performances are getting worse and worse, and there's less good performances in between all of the bad ones. So that's it for this one, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought. And again, make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel, first of all, but also check back in so you guys can see the tactical analysis and the whole breakdown that I'm doing with all the overlays and all the fancy graphics and stuff like that. We'll catch you guys in the next one.